afternoon or evening. Right now I'm going to discuss, and this is specifically pertaining to those with a vested stake in the estate. Not that that really matters because we've been buried and therefore we're able to be easier contained and therefore utilized by the pimp handlers who are addicted to the free nature of our services, theoretically, of course. So what could have happened and what should have happened, yet they decided to play hardball. You know, that's what it was. They wanted to gamble. They bet, like Groucho Marx said in 1947, you bet your life. And the reasoning is as because the bank was never built. Nobody ever built a bank. Nobody ever came. It was just free loot anarchy, communalism. It doesn't even have the ideology of communism. It's communalism because it's basically come in, we'll give you a fake credit card, a fake ID. You can go print as much cash as you can carry at the casino. That sort of mentality, whatever way possible. Because we got these chumps over here locked in a zoo who provide us with all sorts of free. Because we don't want to build. You know, it's the nature of nature, natural resources. The misinterpretation based upon any number of ways. You can tie it into trade secrets or trademarks or whatever else. There are a lot of ways to hide what could have been. Louisiana was obviously doesn't have it's contested ground because of the mouth of the Mississippi River. So you've got people from all angles coming in and trying to control things. So the state itself is probably a contested ground. Probably why it's called Red State. Baton Rouge has got all sorts of influences there, even though they did a terrible job, probably to do with that tall state capital and the worship of this gaming grid. See, Louisiana is a bank, it should not particularly be stuck playing in the gaming grid because it provides too much. Not that anybody really understood this. Some people did, obviously, but it wasn't necessarily. This is all some strange sort of chemistry that's just been blown way overextended as far as the valuations placed upon variables and derivatives and all sorts of supercharged electrons and sorts of things that can be manipulated as fuels or plastics or latex that can stretch or any sorts of misnomers. The problem is Louisiana decided just to rest on. See, Louisiana thought they were trying to be a European-style economy because of the ties to Europe. But instead, it was the bank/law. Whereas they were there to protect Europe, but they did not do a good job, most notably probably because there was horrific management. It's impossible to say who's to blame. Obviously, a lot of money was funneling through the places, and I'm sure controlling the state was done in any number of ways. So what happened was then the powers, and there's fluctuating powers that are constantly changing and through the political system itself. So it really did just become the party playboy mentality, and nobody ever grew up or did anything or accomplished anything. It was just status quo. And if you look all around, with the exception, or like Texas, or they were building industry, corporations, lots of Fortune 500 corporations. Louisiana didn't really build anything or accomplish anything. It is a different sort of system, and in actuality, it got a ton worse because you ruin the individual originality of the system itself. It would have been great if there would have been some sort of civic planning involved. But the problem is also is you had to deal with the law and the political system that were only concerned about domestic issues while spending global dollars. But they'll bury that, they will never admit. It's like they're not going to admit, hey, we got a stolen credit card that we're just going to drive it like it's stolen. That's the name of the game. Numero uno. The gospel of the United States is drive it like you stole it. That's all it meant. GTA, Grand Theft Auto, pedal to the metal. Catch me if you can. Kite them checks. Forgery is freedom. Yeah, right. Forgery is misinterpreted as freedom. And cooking the books loopholes, that's freedom. It's not, it's manipulation of the monetary supply based upon synthetics and amalgamation. Like I said earlier, the best ball math. Rather than the median, it's best ball math. They don't want to average everything in. They even jump it higher to where we're going to all play the best ball. That's it. And that's what the average is going to be. And then they build from there. It's climbing that stairway to heaven, I guess you would say. So Louisiana, and we were built there to be part of the law of the bank. But we got no support other than people shining lights on us, which isn't really that great when we're surrounded by, obviously, I got massacred, shot like Sonny Corleone, they're trying to, in order to justify killing and hanging us on the wall, they will bullshit anything. They will figure any sort of way to kill my family. The name of the game is how do we kill this family and hang them on a wall and steal their wallet? They'll call it religion. They'll call it, that's organized crime there. When in actuality, we are a banking family, a law family who has been horrifically mismanaged by the mob. The real mob are those that producing forgery. Forgery is the bread and butter of the modern mob. And they just print a ton of cash. There's a big difference from what the misnomer is. So we're stuck here validating it as zoo hostages because they need their protect their trade secrets and trademark any means necessary of burying bodies. It's all about burying the bodies in the coma zoo in order to perpetuate the schematics of the scheme. So therefore, it's real easy to accomplish what should have been accomplished. So Louisiana should have developed international trade, but instead it was a threat, deemed a threat because it was passed over. Basically, anything goes in New York, anything goes in Texas, anything goes in California, anything goes in Oklahoma. The Sooners, they do. Look at all the Fortune 500 companies in Oklahoma. Anything goes in Georgia, anything goes in Florida, but Louisiana, because it's a valuable fountain of youth, the unlimited, no limit credit card to be utilized, it was deemed to be kept small. Therefore, they pitted Mississippi and Louisiana kind of against each other as far as the difference between French and English territories in order to basically encapsulate both of them because they're both a bunch of dumbasses in my opinion. But they didn't really have, what's going on is you got a bunch of kids driving. Like I said, the whole motto is drive it like you stole it. You never turn back, Thelma and Louise it right off a cliff if you got to, never give up. It's never surrender because you got a stolen credit card, stolen cars. Now you got to figure any way possible. So you hire a ton of lawyers. You use the best health care in order to launder that loot, and time launders loot. And the almighty savior is energy because you can hide just about anything in all those chemistry sets. That's why Louisiana is loaded with chemistry sets and casinos. It's a big gamble. Well, they're trying to usurp rights and distribute them through the plastic productions, the latex. It's the raw materials, the raw fuels, the raw plastics that fuel the entire nation. Therefore, you've got to hide the source in order to keep them captivated. So that's why no other industries really ever developed in Louisiana. Well, they never did anything with my family, and that could have been the reason why, because it was, if you've got an open bank there, they never developed, it should have been a global trade empire. And I'm not just talking about a port. I'm talking about a bunch of Fortune 500 international conglomerates that have operated through there. Instead, they all jump ship because you got a bunch of small baller playboys that are, more interested in a crawfish boil than they are, anything else. And it just seemed that was the mentality. And obviously, they're being controlled by outside influence. And we had no guidance at all. See, that's another reason. It was just horrific mismanagement. Nobody ever spoke up. Nobody ever did anything in Louisiana. Nothing. I mean, we pay a shit ton to LSU, to Tulane, and to Loyola because they are not managing the estate. They are giving it away. They are not managing the Louisiana's interest in the estate. They are just giving it away. So to protect their ass from screwing up so bad, in my estimation. They're just like, anybody come in and take it, just, we don't want to have to pay our bills. That's the whole Ruth Chris scenario. They'll give anything away and that's why Louisiana is small ball central, it really is. And so you never built anything. And we literally, utilizing the thumbprints or the seal of approval, the keys, like I said, the attached stacked deck genetic access globally, therefore they just give it all away. Tulane's pandering to California and New York. LSU's just bent over to everybody, to especially Georgia, sold their soul to Georgia and Texas. And then Loyola, that should be a tie-in with the Catholics. And the Catholics are lost in this country. They are, they're, I don't understand. They are crazy stupid, in my estimation, for doing nothing. Because Louisiana should be a strong Catholic entity, but instead they just said, screw you, go give it to, they basically are giving it away to the Baptists and to Texas. They're saying, hey, we're not, the New York Catholics, the California Catholics have done no support at all. You can blame the media or the LA or Hollywood, but still, they could have done something. This isn't a new plan I've had. I've had this plan for like 10 plus years, and they decided to lock me out and watch me. They wanted a haunted house. It was a joke. Literally with billions of dollars, but they were picking the pockets while it was a joke. I was paying to be tortured. That's it. They're my S&M pimps, They get paid to humiliate the bozo S&M pimps that they let their dogs, the bestiality that they let go on for the most part, in order to screw me over and therefore to utilize the influence because they knew I had rights to control certain assets. So now they're just giving it all away to the system, even though it's global assets. So now they have sold their soul to the system, and they can't turn back. They sold their soul to the devil. Well, the system is a machine. It doesn't matter. Anybody that has that, the keys, doesn't matter who the hell you are. If you got the keys, you run the system. It doesn't matter. It's a machine. It's all it is. It's a machine. That's all it is, a system. And the system is getting worse and worse as far as the predatory nature because it lost control. And basically, Yeah, it's strange how those with money did nothing. They just kind of said they really didn't do anything. It was strange. Not that they could. I don't know. It's bad policy. It's bad strategy in my estimation because what they should have tried to do is contain or control. But I think they hate the rest of the world. So they're going to try to. I think they're going to try to sacrifice and kill Louisiana, then turn gangster, and then try to sacrifice and kill Latin America in order to appease the restless minority natives. Therefore, that way we're going to initiate you, but you got to help us kill Louisiana and steal all their loot, and then we got to kill Latin America and steal all their loot, and then figure it out. And then I think they're going to attack Africa. I think that once USA gets fat enough, then they'll invade Africa. And that's going to be reclamation, payment for the African Americans. That's going to be claim and reclaim. That's one strategic, that's probably 20, 40 years off. Well, China's got to be having something to say about that also. It's just piss poor policy. Just because they didn't want to build a bridge. They don't like banks. They really hate banks. These guys hate the law and they hate the banks, but they worship predatory shark lawyers. Lawyers are gods among men, but they fucking hate law and law being balanced or anything like that. Like I said, Interpol is a fucking joke in the United States. They laugh at that as a fucking little league joke. And their law is a fucking joke. James Bond is a bozo motherfucking clown to the USA gangsters, That dude is a fucking bozo the clown. Nothing to the USA gangsters, They don't give a shit about anything because they are the untouchable USA mafia. They do so many drugs. They are so high. Lance Armstrong was a little leaguer drugs compared to the system. It is basically they have taken this super, super heavy duty steroids. Literally just super, super heavy duty steroids. And they can't handle their drugs or alcohol. So they just passed out in the field and ants and animals are crawling all over them because they're just passed out because they can't handle their drugs or alcohol. So now who pays? Well, the bank's being looted because these animals are created, these mutated, just, crazy nasty creatures from all the chemical pollution and mutations that are attacking to validate their existence. They've lost complete control. It goes back to, though, in my estimation, we were hacked and programmed. It was certain amounts of, energy was hacking us and certain factions, and then they were using Louisiana as a way to program other parts of the country and other parts of the world, but they lost control. And now the only way they can maintain control, because they can't control it, USA has lost control of their drug and alcohol and their gambling habits. They are way over, they lost it. Look at the global economy and tell me they haven't lost it. They'll try to spin doctor it and cheerlead it all as once, too big to fail, but they lost it long ago. Can't do anything about it, but they sold their soul to the devil, so now they got to, just bend over and take it. That's what's going on. So now whoever is in control, and the media has lost their shit in this country. They have gone just predatory. They want to emancipate. I think it goes back to the pharmaceutical industry. I think the pharmaceutical industry tapped in. That's where all the heavy duty drugs, they got tapped into basically the Catholic blood, and they started, they juiced themselves with this heavy duty Madonna, theoretically, the manufactured Mississippi River Madonna is a heavy juice drug supply, especially when they maximize the valuation of it. And then they just started injecting it into everything, human growth hormone. So all these mutations started growing bigger and bigger, and they lost control. Yeah, I think it has to do a lot to do with the heavy duty pharmaceutical industry. and the health care, which is provided, like I said, not to mention the ranks that are built upon. So it supersedes the rest of the world who's being reverent and pious because the source of the power is reverence and piety. You know, they follow the principle, oh, chump suckers, you know, they follow the principles of that are followed within the who provides them health care. Now, those are chump suckers to be played by the pimps, you know, the varsity major league pimps. Teach them some hardball, you know, when they get the Iron Man stormtroopers going. So, you got these heavy, heavy-duty drugs going on, in my estimation. So they funneled this heavy, heavy drug and just lost control. Not to mention, I was massively hacked to be, whereas I am the opposite world. It's opposite world of what I should be. A capital principal barrister law. Instead, it's programmed because of this hack that I had no idea about what was going on. You know, I didn't understand it because we had no counsel. We had no advisors. It was born free, you know, tornado, Tasmanian devil, just anybody that wants to come up and stab the boy, stab him. You get paid, you know. That's the way it works. You know, that was the whole name of the game. We had no idea. Everybody else obviously had a clue what was going on, so they manipulated us or they manipulated other things. They played the puppet string marionette sort of thing. So I think that has an effect upon the network genetics of me through Louisiana, which bridges through the Mississippi River, St. Louis, King of France, King Cake, Casey Royals, Cathedral, not to mention Budweiser, the king of beers in St. Louis, and all sorts of things, the oil, and I mean, it basically what they did was they took the mainframe computer, theoretically, which I think I have become, because I am not allowed to build a bank or walls to protect myself and unfix this, because they've already, play it as it lies, you can't fix nothing, that's good. Scratch, play it as a lot. So, it's programmed the society to go off the deep end. I mean, literally. And I honestly think this goes back to trying to save these guys from who screwed my father. I honestly think they didn't care about anything else, so that's the Ruth Chris's. They were trying to save Joey, like in Hackers. Let's go save the Joey, So they screwed me up, which in turn screwed up the country, which in turn screwed up the world in order to save their ass, because they're afraid to eat any meat. That sort of, I don't know. That's one theory. These are all sorts of strange theories of my fiction or non-fiction world, which I'd like to be able to determine and sell some book rights and movie rights to, yet unable. Do maybe a stand-up tour or some sort of spoken word colleges, or who knows where I should be. But hey, of course, do it yourself, Lone Star, Home Alone beautician, Reverend Lone Star. Got to figure it out, don't do it all on your own, Can't have any advisors, nothing. Scratch. It's that solitary momentous, the curse of the golf, And I don't even get a caddy. I have to play caddy while I'm trying to play. Don't get no clubs. I got to kick it. That's it. I got to nose it around. Nudge it with my nose. That's as far as I can go with it. That's handicap enough in order to use my wallet. So, Louisiana should have been built into a trade empire bank. Had some controls rather than being exploited. See, Louisiana has international assets. Therefore, it was exploited for that reason. And I was supposed to close the goddamn door, as that Panic at the Disco song sings. I mean, everybody knows what's going on. Just build some walls. Get out of the woods. You're being massacred. Get out of the woods. Or quit swimming, dogger paddling around the party barges and figure a way to climb on board, but they keep pushing me back off. They lock me out while they're at the Sundance Kidnapster, you know. With instead, it's the King of Moonrise Kingdom Midnight Cowboy, J.V. Jamboy, 1969, Best Picture, and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid was 1969, numero uno at the box office. But hey, we all know what benefits work. We want to be some pimps. That's right. It's all about the pimp hand games. Upgrades, idiocracy. I mean, really. I mean, the problem is everybody points this out. Just a bunch of worthless pointers. But I'm been trying to fix the problem. I came up with solutions for 10 years now. Eat nothing. You know what? Make it. It just makes no sense at all because I think they got nervous, or I don't know. Honestly, don't know. They lost control. I mean, like I said, they've got to try to desecrate all my muscle because to protect those with health care that screwed me. So now they got to turn the country against me in order to protect those that screwed me. So I got dragged around, and yeah, that's the funny part about, the Louis Marx toys, the Army Men, and the train set, and all that stuff, because they wanted to screw me. You bet your life. They bet my life. So now, because I'm a zoo hostage, and the people that screwed me are in control of my environment, they get to steer me around to beautify them and to get them off the hook as their lawyers. Yeah, it's like I said many, many times before. You get a criminal who does something to a victim. And basically, we got mugged, we got, and then all sorts of things. But then the criminals get to control the victim. That's what's going on. So those that have screwed us are then controlling us to protect their buddies who they distributed the stolen loot through, theoretically. Because nobody did anything. Louisiana politicians are playing the political game. There has to be somebody else because of the global connection. It's all about the connection to the global assets. But they don't want us to have options. That's the whole thing. They want us to be dogs. They want to teach us to fetch. That's what they've been trying to do all my life. To give them credibility points, we want this VIP, this global VIP to fetch us some bitches. That's what it's all about. Fetching to play us some bitches. Fetching to pimp some bitches. That's been my whole life. Fetching to pimp some bitches so they can sell them for hooch, or they can, pimp them out some more to some other bitch. Yeah, that's what it's all been about my entire life. Fetching to pimp some bitches. That's basically it, and in a nutshell. But I mean, that's a crudity of it. But hey, it's funny in my estimation. Not that funny's gonna be allowed soon. The puritanical police, because if you've seen over the many, many years of me trying to escape how vanilla puritanical it's become, yeah, it's gotten bad. I mean, it's really because they lost control of the system. Because it's, a runaway train. Nobody can control it because there's guilt built in. So now you got to let it, just can't do anything about it. So now the world has to pay because people did not want to pay their bills. They didn't want to build a bank. They wanted to emancipate the accounts. Well, you can claim just about anything. And what they're doing is they're saying that the assets derived that funnel through the state of Louisiana, and I happen to be Louis, as we all know, therefore validating it, then turns into attaching to assets. But in estimation, it's the products that are produced or the cars that are driven, the power, the size, scope, and power. That's where you get into the machine is almighty. It doesn't matter who's driving it. Possession? Who cares? Whoever's got possession, or seemingly you can brainwash the public to think anything, just about everything. It doesn't matter, especially when you bury the truth. Like, hey, how long have I been buried by my theoretical interpretation? Whether it be fiction or not, it could be, couldn't be, who knows? They're kind of nervous because of the horrific state of mismanagement. So instead, we're just going to censor that and bury it as, we don't like that truth. That's like, don't really like that truth, so we're just going to bury it there, and we'll figure out something else to do. We'll let the dogs screw it to death and chew on it. And then those dogs turned into some super big mutants, and now they can't really control their pets. Well, see, they did. That's what happened. They lost control of their pets, first of all, because they gave them so much cash. I mean, just started, but they won't let me protect myself. So now, and I am a BIP, a global commodity to be screwed. So the pimps allow their pets to validate their cash by screwing me, because now then you got it. Then it gets into, I mean, it's really getting out of hand. That's where you get into the global anarchy, infectious disease. The gremlins have gone nuts, and all this, you gotta. I mean, it's gotta be, where in the hell are these? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, there is it's just, it's beyond any sorts of, I don't know. It's beyond any sort of logic, parameters of logic, because they're just, I mean, it's kind of like anything goes, as far as they're going to emancipate any sector rather than paying their bills. They will perpetuate the party. It's like at dinner. What was that? Fast Times at Ridgemont High, where he just keeps ordering and ordering and ordering because he forgot his wallet? Well, they're using a stolen wallet. And so they're going to keep ordering. The party is going on nights and days, just Mardi Gras for years. Mardi Gras for years. And no Lent. There's no Lent at all involved in this. Nobody's paying the bill on anything. There's no penance. There's no reconciliation. Print more cash, keep it going. You're above the law here. We're talking about untouchable mobsters, good fellow gangsters here. Everybody, no matter who you are, you got a credit card. You got a player's card. BIP player's card with my thumbprint on it. And a hostage to validate it. So, print more money. That's what it's all about. Print more money. And then build and build and build, regardless of what you're building. That's where Louisiana got screwed. I would have been in favor of preserving heritage. But nope. You want to destroy heritage. You want strip malls, and you want uniformity. That's fair. Uniformity is fair. And you want to destroy all the localized in order to be able to control it, because you've got an inherent flaw at the base of the economic equation they're using. The economic equation they're using has got flawed logic built into it, based upon it's using global accounting on one side and domestic accounting on the other. And the conversion rates are really off, in my estimation. I mean, the conversion rates, in my estimation, are really off. Like I said, they're using about 1/4 or 1/5 of the global world economy. We're talking about parts of Europe, parts of Latin America, and America. And then they're doing all their equations and math, and it's just within the United States. So you're factoring in all, and that's how, and now they're trying to validate it through, I guess, franchise, the franchise war, and it just doesn't make any sense. It's bad business, in my estimation. I want to go back into these towns in Louisiana and try, there's got to be a solution to fix this problem. But the problem is the system itself is so screwed up that those people, the problem is those people that don't have a stake in the game are allowed to gamble. It's not like a casino. People are going in with their VIP Players Club card, and they're gambling on things that they don't necessarily have a stake in order to transfer. It's not real sound logic. So, I don't know. Like I said, I would have bailed out a long time ago, but I'm not allowed because I pay too much. Only in America, me, because I pay so many salaries. Now, I would have bailed and jumped in ship, but now they're trying to ruin the rest of the world to validate the screw up of this system. They got to turn everything screwed up so it looks right. If the whole world is really, really screwed up, then they didn't do nothing wrong. Then, especially when they got it's like having the best house in the ghetto mentality. You know, that's what it is. It's the worst. I mean, just terrible, terrible policy. I mean, we're talking about horrific because people won't accept that the system is screwed up. Hopefully, one of these days, people might wise up a touch, but it doesn't look like anytime soon. So, looks like just, Louisiana, never going to be a bank built. It's lost control. Baton Rouge is trying to control the state through controlling certain entities, and it's being controlled by Dow Chemical, by Honeywell, by Formosa Plastics, and by ExxonMobil, and Marathon, and Valero, and it's controlled by these industries, but it doesn't have it. It's it's big global money that's being made through this thing. The exchange rate is going way up, and either you've got to audit the schematics of it, figure out and say, hey, what's up? Or quit. In fact, like I told, this was one of my ideas when I was living back in Aspen. I hung this sign up, how Baton Rouge, it's Louisiana's holy land for many reasons. St. Louis King of France Cathedral, the synagogues, and the Mississippi River is holy land because of that. And so, plus the parishes, it makes it, if it's different, the parish system. And they're trying to exploit the differences and then control it. Exploit and control is what's going on now to prove that they ain't special, they ain't special. So, what happens is, plus you've got around the state capital itself, they have built all of these factories and chemical plants. So the pollution is inundating, I mean, literally few miles from the state capital, where all the state body legislatures that are built on the representational system are polluted, heavy carcinogen pollution. And the Louisiana State University is not far away, heavy pollution. So therefore, it spreads to the state, but the pollution reaches, I said to move the state capital out of Louisiana just until you figure something out. Move it to, Hammond or Lafayette or somewhere, and figure something out. But they're so heavily, I don't know, they're so heavily invested in the big lie that everybody's afraid to do anything because they're reliant upon others for the job. If they start making, they start doing a little, get to be some uppity slaves or some rabble rousing, they might jump ship with them jobs overseas. So then it'd be nothing but a ghost town because they never built a global empire. They never built a bank. They wanted, that they just decided to party. They wanted to be. So the pollution, also my theory is that it's polluting a big portion of the world. I think it's actually polluting because there's a old Spanish capital there. And then I think it's literally polluting through the Catholic Church because there's Sacred Heart Cathedral, there's St. Joseph's Cathedral, there's several others, and I honestly think it's polluting into. They figured a way that it's polluting a lot of Latin America and Europe, and therefore the pollution itself is creating difficulties, and there's all sorts of interpretation, but it really is. When you've got the capital that's sitting right there, you've got the state university right there in the path of tons. I mean, if you look at, we're talking about 10, 20 miles of chemical plants that are being just inundated with pollution. That is, I mean, we're right up the road from Cancer Alley there. I mean, it's really bad. Not to mention the water that is passing through in the Mississippi River is heavily polluted. So therefore, it is creating, especially that's why Louisiana should not be part of the game grid. Because that's why the quarter has the Louisiana Purchase on it, because the grid itself is pollution, is just heavily polluted, and the cause effect of it. And they try to spin I mean, it honestly is because, I mean, there's several people to blame, or several groups to blame, obviously. Lack of control of the economic resources. But Louisiana being unable to be, that's why it's, I mean, it's a biological terrorism weapon. I mean, it's biological and chemical terrorist weaponry that is affecting a chunk of the globe, in my estimation, through the church is a network. The church is a big network. I happen to be a way of tapping into parts of it. And people use me to poison the church to basically grab some assets. You know, they want to get a part of the plaid skirt assets. That's what it's all about, the plaid skirt assets. You know, being able to rebrand and pimp them off. You know, pimp them off and sell them off for parts, because that's an asset. Skirts are assets, and they are sold. They might be free thinking, but they're brainwashed to think a certain way. Who controls the brainwashing? That's the key. And obviously, if my story has been buried and censored, somebody's controlling that. So, the plaid skirts are assets that are being traded and sold. The problem is that it is like I said, we're talking about a huge chunk of real estate, and it's horrifically mismanagement, and it's the same sort of mentality. So I'm forced into this grid because they did such a good job of screwing me that they want me to play it as it lies, you know, and because they screwed me so bad, they want me to suffer because they really got their money worth out of their slave. You know, they got, I'm the biggest slave in the history of the world. They made billions and billions of dollars off me, and I got to go out and hustle just to eat, you know. I literally got to hustle to go out on some humiliating begging to be able to eat while my pimps are getting paid billions of dollars off of me. I mean, that's you know, talk about Sundance kidnapster, shyster, big sting, you know, it really is horrifically, just absolutely some of the worst. So now you've got the pimp players who are utilizing, are really, I mean, it was a gamble to perpetuate the screwing. I mean, they just wanted to screw me for a long time. They got addicted to screwing me. So then now they're kind of guilty. You know, well, we screwed this guy a long time. So now they're afraid. So now they have to kill me or keep me as a slave forever. So I can never get escape. That's why the media and the healthcare have got to protect these valuable commodities, because I've been lowered from my status providing billions and billions of dollars to be as low down as I can go to protect the people that have screwed me so bad and screwed my family. Boy, ain't them some smart, good pimps? You know, that is some smart, good pimp masters. Woo! Love them pimp masters. Woo! So, what do you do about it? Me, I just sit back and do nothing and wait. You know, I can't do anything. Media's boycotted me, blacklisted. You know, I'd like to go to Sundance to try to sell this story, but not allowed. That's, you know, that's my pimps only get to go there. I got to sit here in this moldy, smelly garage in Savannah and suffer some more and wait and wait and wait. It seems, I mean, it's just, you can't even imagine how horrific the nature of this stench is. And it's just, like I said, paid and paid and paid and paid and paid. That's what it's all about. Pay and pay and pay and more. Pay and pay and pay more. Never going to get anything done. It's just, I mean, probably one of the worst mismanagement mishaps in the history of the world. The BP oil spill, or the Exxon Valdez spill, was bad as far as the horrific nature of the mismanagement. The BP Transocean spill was even, I mean, it's so bad you can't even imagine how bad the mismanagement is on it. I mean, literally, the world economy has got to be destroyed to protect the people, because they just can't quit screwing me, you know, and it's available because they done printed so much cash and bought so many goods and jewels and stuff. Crazy. Beyond crazy.